Yeah, it's a shame.
This thing that you were saying about these cave paintings that show these animals, can we find those?
You probably could, yeah. I'm sure there's something documented on the net more than me just saying they look similar. I'm sure there's something like that. But like whether they were a spiritual person or animal or being is hard to say. But you know, you hear stories about the hairy people and things like that. Like that ain't people, eh?
Yeah, what is that?
Australian Yowie.
It's like a really skinny Darth Vader.
We put the Western word on it.
What is it? Yowie?
Yowie. Like your Bigfoot.
Oh. So did they... Whoa. What is that image? That's the Yowie? So this is...
That looks like the bloody devil eating someone there.
Something that... So these... And there's more... Wow, there's more than one of these.
Yeah.
Huh. This thing that they... What are they showing?
Can. Yeah, look at the similarity in them.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
And what are those things to the left of it? Like, what is that thing?
I don't know.
Like, what are all those things? It looks like a giant ball floating with a string attached to it. Like, but there's so many. Scroll back down again, Jamie. There's so many similar images of these long-armed creatures with 4 fingers. Whoa.
Isn't that amazing, eh?
Do they know how old these paintings are?
I'm sure they do know some of them. But there's artifacts going back 70,000 years now.
Whoa.
Yeah, 6 toes, whatever that is.
Yeah, what is that thing?
So, and there was like big like events in the last 10,000 years, as in like meteor strikes and things like that. So it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a big one that's detailed off the coast of Australia around 5,000 years ago. Like, look at these things. How weird. Look at their heads.
Aliens, Joe.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So like, yeah. I think there's even some paintings of like spaceships.
Really?
Or what you would consider as spaceships.
Wow. Now, did the Aborigines, do they have a history of the use of psychedelics? Are there psychedelic drugs?
Take it there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because there was a lot of bush medicine that they used. So, you know, whatever the side effects could have been of that.
Look at those fucking things. Like
look how many there is.
Bush medicine. Like, what does that mean?
Like just natural herbs, you know, natural things that, you know, it might be the sap of a tree, it might be leaves boiled up, it might be some sort of nut.
Australian rock art might be the oldest in the world. Wow.
Does it actually say how old?
Look how
60,000 years.
Fucking
yeah, I know.
60,000 years ago, and they look like aliens.
Yep.
I mean, those look
Isn't
exact.
that incredible?
Giant black eyes, huge heads. That looks exactly like the classic gray alien.
Some paintings might also mean something else. So, like, I know we're looking at those as faces, but,
right.
So one of my company's logos it's a bunch of dots, and the words Nalia, which is in the Nullamar language, which is like the community that I'm near. In the Nullamar language, it means like people come together to create a community. And then so those drawings that we just looked at could also be similar to that. Like there's 2 communities that are coming together.
Oh.
The line in the middle might mean this is their land, which could be a ridge line, you know, so your land's there, our land's here. Mm-hmm. And then the whole circle around it could actually mean the world or community, everything together. So even though it looks like a face, it could actually mean something a lot different.
Right. And
that's one of the difficulties in Australia with teaching the traditional peoples past is there's so much to it. And there's so much that's not understood from one community to the other. So it does make it very difficult. But it's sad that it is getting lost.
Well, and when you're dealing with 700 different languages and people that have lived in this area for 60,000+ years, I mean, that is crazy. Yeah. I mean, how much work is being done to document all this stuff?
I don't really know. a lot of these communities are very remote, so I don't know how much help there actually is for them. I don't know how many people can go to a place like that to document it.
Right.
I don't know how many people are actually qualified to document it either. So, it is very difficult.
And do they have written language when it comes to this?
Yeah,
All of them?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 700 written languages.
I don't know about written language really. Because it's one thing to speak a language because that's what you know, but what reason do they have to write it down?
Right.
You
Do
know?
they have an alphabet like we do, or do they share the alphabet?
I don't believe so.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know enough to say too much
I
because I don't
understand.
want to offend
Yeah.
these people, you know.
Right.
And I'm definitely no expert on it. I can only give you, you know, what I do know and what I've heard
Right.
and learnt myself. But I think a part of the struggle in Australia with Aboriginal culture is that it's not a written language. So, like, how can it be passed on to someone else? You're either in the family and you grew up listening to the language and understand it,
Right.
you know, or you don't. So,
Or you don't. Yeah. And then we might lose it forever.
yeah, I'm sure when you're talking about 60,000 years old and over 700 different dialects.
Whoa. That's a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's apparently called a Yaru, or it's a very close representation of a plesiosaur, I think is what I was just reading.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't it fascinating? And
And
the-
how
just
old is
the
that supposed to
paintings
be?
and tradition.
I didn't see that.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're just showing what it would have looked like. if
Yeah.
they-
That's fucking crazy.
Ugh, getting an adrenaline rush.
Wow. They have drawings of fucking dinosaurs.
Amazing, eh?
This is where I was getting there. How do I get here? There's a lot of versions of that. I was trying to track.
A lot
what
of
that
different
was.
versions of a plesiosaur.
Oh, just so like
what looks
different.
like one.
Yeah, I don't know which was the original or picture from this, but it's in color in some places, and it's being talked about in other different parts of the internet. I'll just leave it.
Look at that one that says the ancient history of UFOs. The one over here. Yeah, look at that fucking. What is that? That looks like a person or some thing in a
Oh, doesn't
spacesuit.
it ever? Yeah. Very similar to what
Jeez.
we're looking at, yeah.
But just you just got to wonder, like, were these people tripping balls?
Maybe. They had a dream time, which sounds like it would have been like their traditional religion.
Have you seen these up close?
These, not those as
But some of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place in Western Australia where there's over 70, this is just on a peninsula on the coast, there's over 70,000 rock art pieces